My name is David Butler,
And I'm Gerry Cannon.
and we're both with No WiFi, which is North Wicklow Films. It's a collective that's been making films out of Bray and North Wicklow ever since November 2016. Roisin O'Grady and Niamh O'Donnell of the Mermaid Arts Centre asked us would we curate this year's Wicklow Film Festival, which will be taking place this year between Culture Night, Friday the 21st of September and Sunday the 23rd of September. It's actually the third year of Wicklow Film Festival. The initial year it was curated by Bridget O'Brien and last year by Outpost Studios. And generally the Wicklow Film Festival looks at certain social issues. This year what we decided we would like to do is focus specifically on Ireland, Irish films and Irish social issues. The curated programme begins, if you want to continue, Gerry.
So, kicking off the 2018 Wicklow Film Festival will be an animated full-length film called Breadwinner. Breadwinner is made by Irish production company Cartoon Saloon, and unlike Cartoon Saloon's previous productions, this story is set outside of Ireland. It's set in Afghanistan and tells the story of a young girl, Parvana, whose father has been abducted, and in order to track him down and become literally the breadwinner to support the family, she cuts her hair short and dresses like a boy. So the people who will get to see Breadwinner are very lucky, because on the morning of the 21st there will be a screening especially for a local school, and then as part of Culture Night, the nationwide initiative where free tickets are given to cultural events, the Mermaid Arts Centre will be providing free tickets for the 5 p.m. screening of Breadwinner. So the details will be on the website for that one. And also, the other good news for Breadwinner is it has already received an Oscar nomination, which is quite unique from an Irish film perspective. Following on from that, on Friday night, the main feature will be Michael Inside. Michael Inside is Frank Berry as writer-director. Michael Inside is a story about a young man who finds himself on his way to prison, which is a life-changing experience. It stars Daffyd Flynn as Michael, and also Mo Dumford, whose career as an actor has been on an upward trajectory over the last couple of years. Michael Inside has been received very well around the world, and locally it's received an IFTA Best Film Award this year. We will also be joined on the Friday evening by Frank himself, who will be available for a Q&A session on Michael Inside and his previous two feature films. So we look forward to having Frank with us on Friday the 21st.
On Saturday afternoon from 2 p.m. we're delighted to offer the docudrama Citizen Lane. Citizen Lane is an exploration of the life and times of the troubled art collector Hugh Lane, who was famous for dying on board the Lusitania when it was torpedoed in 1915. He was at the age of 40 at the time, and one of the legacies of that is that his will has always been disputed. The codicil that finally left the entire collection to Dublin is unsigned, so his impressionist collection tends to be divided between the National Gallery in London and what's now the Hugh Lane Gallery in Parnell Square. The approach to the film, it was scripted by Mark O'Halloran, who is a very well-known playwright. He's also a screenwriter famous for Adam and Paul and The Garage. And it's a very inventive and interesting take in that it combines documentary footage, historians, art critics, as well as a reconstruction of the life of this very troubled character. He's partly a snob and yet he's partly a populist. He's a very complicated character, and he's wonderfully played in the film by Tom Vaughan Lawler. And we're delighted that Mark O'Halloran himself will then be available for the Q&A afterwards, after the screening of Citizen Lane.
On the Saturday afternoon, the 22nd of September, in a departure from the normal running order of feature films for the Wicklow Film Festival, we will have a screening of short films. As the curators of this year's Film Festival, myself and David Butler, who are founder members of North Wicklow Filmmakers, otherwise known as No WiFi, are fortunate enough that our short films are screened at the Mermaid Arts Centre once a month on the first Mondays. So for this particular screening during the Wicklow Film Festival, we're also giving the opportunity to some Wicklow-based filmmakers who've already produced work and bringing them together. So we have Homecoming by Sinead O'Loughlin, Remains by Ian Campbell, and also in keeping with the theme of Ireland past and present, we have a short film called Tommy Rot, which tells the tale of an Irish regiment back in 1918 in the First World War.
Then on Saturday night, we'll be showing Dublin Old School. Dublin Old School is based on a play by Emmett Kirwan, who also stars in the film. And it looks at the contemporary Dublin drink and drug scene and the rave scene. And it centres on a character, Jason, who's played by Emmett, who encounters his brother, who's a heroin addict. Now, that all sounds a little bit grim, but if you think Train Spotting or Adam and Paul and the sort of humour that's in those, I think you got a better idea of Emmett's approach to this particular subject. We're delighted that rounding off this year's film festival on Sunday afternoon, we're going to be showing a marvellous film from 2014, which has won both BAFTAs and IFTAs, which is Philomena. And Philomena is a true story. It was written by Martin Sixsmith. Martin Sixsmith, who is a reporter and a spin doctor who sort of fell out of favour, fell out of grace, and then he found this Irish woman and he followed her story where she was trying to trace her lost son who had been taken from her when she was in care in Ireland. And they travelled back to Ireland to try to find this this son who had been taken for her 40 odd years ago. It has two stellar performances, I have to say, from Judi Dench as the mother, Philomena, and then Steve Coogan plays Martin Sixsmith, and it's funny, it's heartwarming, and it's heart-wrenching at the same time. And I'm delighted that the award-winning poet Anne-Marie Ní Chuireann will be available for the Q&A afterwards. Her collection, Bloodroot, her most recent poetry collection, is very much based on the whole idea of unmarried mothers and the scandals in Ireland's past. She herself comes from a family which serially adopted, I suppose, foster sisters all through her life, so she's got a very interesting take on the whole thing, and that sort of wraps up our festival for this year. So they'll all be being screened at the Mermaid Arts Centre from Culture Night, which is Friday the 21st of September till Sunday the 23rd.
And it's a unique opportunity to see some of the best Irish feature films that have been made in recent times.
Be sure and come along and be part of the fun and part of the discussion as well. So that's Friday 21st to Sunday the 23rd at the Mermaid Arts Centre.